Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to another episode of the Collaboration Culture Podcast. I am your host, Kimberly Winborn. I am excited to have my guest this morning. I'm excited to have you join us this morning. And before we get started, I want to make sure you have an opportunity to share out the broadcast. So all you have to do is take your devices, and you just want to go down to the bottom where you see that arrow and just share it out. Share it out to your friends, text everybody, share it out to your network, so that we can have a full room for this exciting guest that we have today, a new business owner. So anybody that knows me knows that I'm very excited about that. And also a dear friend of mine and a pillar in the community. So let me introduce her. This morning, I want you all to meet India Williams, a creative strategist, change maker, and community builder. So whether she's in business, nonprofits, or the arts, India shows up as a dynamic leader with a passion for excellence and a heart for empowering others. I mentioned that she's a friend. She's a Raleigh native and proud graduate of Enloe High School, and we actually graduated together. India is a UNC Chapel Hill alumna and served as the Black Student Movement president during an historic chapter and the 30th year of the university's second largest student organization. So her leadership and community building goes back decades. India spent 8 years as an educator in the charter and private school sector, shaping the minds and impacting lives of youth in Raleigh and in Durham. And in the corporate space, India spent over a decade helping organizations navigate change, improve processes, and create lasting impact, working with major brands like Cisco Systems. As the owner of iWill Consulting, India is now leveraging her corporate expertise to help businesses and nonprofits navigate change, improve processes, and drive meaningful impact, which we just heard is something that she's an expert at. Most recently, her passion for people led her to step into a new challenge, serving as the executive director at Loaves and Fishes Ministry Incorporated, which has been about a year now. And this is a nonprofit dedicated to empowering under-resourced K-12 youth through comprehensive after-school programs and family support services. She is a board member. She is a board member for several nonprofits, including Seasons Village, and just has a trail of leadership that follows her. And so India is guided by her bold faith in God and believes in her life is a testament to Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. And we'll find out a little bit more about India by welcoming her to the stage. So give me just a moment and I will bring her up. I am having a little bit of technical difficulty this morning, but I did not want that to stop anything because we're going to move forward. And so, India, let me see if I could bring you up. All right. So while I'm doing that, if you could come off mute, we could hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, yes, we can hear you.
Awesome.
But something is going on with the visual. So if you could go ahead and begin introducing yourself and all of that, and I'll do a reset and then we'll
Okay.
have you on screen.
Okay. All right. So I can be heard but not seen right now. Is that what's going on?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Well, hello, everybody. Good Monday morning. I hope that you are well today. I've got my coffee and I'm ready to There, I think I'm on screen. I think I think I'm there. Okay. Hey everybody.
You are. That was the reset that I had to do.
Okay, wonderful. Well, good morning. And first I just want to say thank you, Kimberly, for this invitation to join you on the podcast to talk about iWill Consulting and just talk about collaboration in general. You know me, my phrase is gatekeeping is not a flex. And when you talk about the fact that collaboration is the new business currency, I wholeheartedly co-sign and agree with that. So yes was always going to be my answer when asked to come on this amazing podcast. So just a little introduction. The bio speaks for itself. It's always interesting hearing those things about what you've done. You're like, I've actually done a lot. But you know what matters now and what we're talking about is my latest venture, which is iWill Consulting. It is a play on my first initial and the first four letters of my last name, but it's also a declaration and it's a statement. And that statement is I will come alongside companies, organizations, individual entrepreneurs, nonprofit leaders, faith leaders, anyone who has a vision to get a job done, but maybe needs some strategic support to get there. So that is why I will Consulting LLC was born. Um, so when you think about what that means, you know, many of these individuals that I mentioned have a lot of vision, but not a lot of bandwidth, not a lot of time to get those things done, not a lot of folks on staff, or maybe not even have a staff or a team to help get those things done. But those individuals and organizations that I mentioned, especially like nonprofits, um, so they're running probably very complex organizations, multiple ministries. You got staff you're leading, you got volunteers that you're trying to manage, budgets, events, and maybe you've got processes that were set up ages ago and they're not necessarily efficient today, and nobody has touched it, nobody has questioned it. You just keep going with the flow because you don't have the time. So I step in and I help out with that. So my specialties are change management. I am a ProSci certified change practitioner. So that means I can come in and help you before you initiate a big change. The key is before you initiate a big change to help you come up with a plan of how you're going to roll that change out. Because we know that change affects humans.
Hmm.
In humans, there's a psychology to how change should be rolled out in order for it to stick. So I help you with that. I also help you with the process improvement, project management, your strategic communications, and mixed in, intertwined into all of that is AI to help you
Hmm.
improve your business and make it more efficient. So
Love it.
that's what I will is all about.
So, what was your inspiration? What was the big inspiration for you starting the firm? Because we heard about your corporate experience and then your experience in education and now launching this business. And I know you mentioned that there's a need. You see a need for people who may be lacking and needing gaps filled. But what was your personal inspiration for launching a business?
Well, I've been telling this story for a few weeks now since the launch,
Mm-hmm.
or leading into the launch, about why I started this. And you know, something about turning 50 that can just, um, I don't know. You know, when you're looking through binoculars and they're not quite clear, and you're trying to find that right focus, and then something happens when you
Mm-hmm.
get that, when you lock into the focus, and you're like, oh, that's what that is. So approaching 50, I was really reflective on what thing or things, because it can be more than one, that I wanted to leave in this earth after I'm gone. What
Mm-hmm.
impact will I want to have made in my time here on this earth? Um, and so I really started thinking about all the things I have been doing for years, but just kind of, you know, helping people out. and not necessarily attaching a value to that. And I really started thinking like, hey, girl, this what you're doing has a price tag. And you
Mm-hmm.
really need to get out here and make it official and, really, really see that you actually now have expertise, right?
Yeah.
You have expertise and someone needs what you have. Someone wants what you have to share. And so um, I had to figure out how best to bottle this thing up because it's kind of a lot of different things. So I
Mm-hmm.
needed guidance on how to put some parameters around it so I'm not kind of out here doing any and everything, but really figure out who my audience is and what it is really that I'm trying to share.
Yeah.
But do it in a way that doesn't cheapen my value, that really
Mm-hmm.
helps people to see that this woman is not just speaking, she's speaking off of expertise, she's speaking off of knowledge, she's speaking off of wisdom. So it's time to pass that information down. It's time to put that information out there. And I wanted to do it in the most professional and way that I could share with my network so that I could be connected to the organizations, individuals, entrepreneurs, all the people on the list that I named that need my support or that
Yeah.
would benefit from my support. So
Yeah.
here we are.
Well, congratulations again. I'm not sure if you know and the listeners, but women account for about 49% of all new businesses. And that surging in growth due to a desire for autonomy as well as wealth building. And I know that there's so much opportunity for you in the space that that you're working to support and help others. I also wanted to share that women currently own over 40% of all businesses in the United States, generating 2.8 trillion in revenue and employing 12.6 million people. Is it a desire of yours at all to employ others down the road, or you think that this is just going to be a small consultancy where you have the opportunity to just exchange with others individually, one on one?
Well, a little of both. Well, I'll say this. Um, a lot of what keeps people from starting businesses, at least from my research and what I've experienced, is that we don't start because we don't realize that it's okay to start small.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't have to come out the gate in the fifth iteration. Like you really can just start and then iterate as you go along. So the first iteration of iWill Consulting will be one-on-one. I am the principal consultant, but I do want to also shout out the fact that I have an amazing ecosystem, amazing network of other entrepreneurs, other um, business owners who are doing some amazing things. And so I believe that it's my job in this stage to connect people to other resources that I might not be able to provide. So after having a free consultation and listening to your business needs or listening to those pain points that you might have, yes, iWill Consulting might be a great fit, but it might not be. But that's
Mm-hmm.
okay because I'm connected to some, like I said, just dynamic individuals, dynamic entrepreneurs who I can pass you along to if what I offer does not fit your business needs, or if in combination with what I do could
Yeah.
be collaborate with another one of these partners that I'm connected with in my network. But eventually, a further iteration down the road, I would love to see iWill Consulting expand to a larger team where we're just as a team taking on clients, helping them solve their problems, helping them find and be able to identify those pain points, getting them through the big stuff, and moving along. That's the ultimate vision. But again,
Yeah.
that's a down the road vision. I'm still leading the amazing organization called Loaves and Fishes Ministry, so I'm still committed to that. So starting small is going to be important for me to make sure that I'm not overwhelming my system, right? Um,
Yeah.
so gotta be smart about it, but also you can't come up with more excuses to not start. So here I am
Yeah.
starting small, but starting.
Oh, I love that. And it sort of leads into the next area. Well, I guess I can just go there because you open the door when you talk about strategy, but also talk about sort of balancing all the things that you do, carrying all the hats that you wear. Um, what strategies do you use to manage your time effectively between work, now the new business, and family life?
Well, intention is going to be the key word there. Every move that I make has to be thoughtful. Um, Before my feet hit the ground, I am asking God to order my steps today.
Mhm.
And then tomorrow, I'm going to do the same thing, order my steps today, because my
Mhm.
steps today might not be the steps that I need to take tomorrow. So, what do I need to prioritize? Like, I'm going to consult with God about all of that.
Mhm.
And so, that's going to be the way I prioritize my day, is really consulting with God about what's important today.
Yeah.
What needs to get done now? And the Holy Spirit always leads me to what I need to do. And I don't always get it right. Do I always remember to do that every morning? No, but guess
Mhm.
about 10 o'clock, I realized that I didn't do it.
Yes, I understand.
No, uh-huh. So
Feel a little off.
yes, I feel a lot off. And you're like, what did I?
Mhm.
Oh. So
Yeah.
again, intention, God is not expecting perfection, of course. But the intention is there to definitely realize that I'm not um, doing this solo. God is the
Yeah,
captain, steering the ship.
absolutely.
And so, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, and in that, I can ask a little bit more about faith because a lot of times entrepreneurs and even people who have a 9 to 5, just in general, it's hard for people to bridge the two lives in a sense together, even though it's one. Many people take off the faith hat when they go to work or in their business and never talk about God and never uplift that outside of like church and things like that. So, in what ways does your faith or how strong how is that something that you have to is that something that you have to attach to your everyday life because you in our conversation just shared your faith very easily, so is that something that you attach to your everyday life? And do you think, because you brought up the fact that you're 50, at least 50 now, and so, do you think that that is something that came with age slash wisdom as well? So, kind of a two-part question.
Absolutely something that came with age and wisdom. Um, I'm not alone in saying that in a lot of my younger adult life was spent people pleasing.
Hmm.
We're kind of conditioned that way, right? Even from schooling, you want to be the teacher's pet, you want to be liked. Um, and so in that, you want to just make sure everybody's comfortable with you, whether it's how you speak as the Black woman, not
Hmm.
too angry, not being aggressive, like all of those things. And then you realize at some point, which is what I did, that what it truly means to show up as your authentic self.
Hmm.
Um, you, you hear that phrase in corporate America a lot, like you can be authentic with us, your authentic self. But there's a caveat most of the time to like, unless so
Hmm.
I take that with a grain of salt, to be honest, because really, authentically, who I am still makes people uncomfortable. But I stopped caring about that. Um, at some point, it was probably that decade between 40 and 50.
Hmm.
If you're in that space, you know exactly what I'm talking about when people pleasing becomes obsolete, or at least
Hmm.
not as important as it was for you in the earlier years. And so, what it means for me is that understanding that my faith is the center of who I am. It's the
Hmm.
foundation. It's the core of me. And so, to enter any space and try to just I don't know, minimize that is not authentic for me. And
Yeah.
so, does it mean that I'm going to be thumping my Bible everywhere I go? No, absolutely not. But what you're going to do is see God shine through me.
Yeah. Yeah.
What
And I
you're going to
love
do, um, and
I
so
love that.
that is what I want to carry into every client relationship. You mentioned something at the end of my launch party, and thank you for co-hosting along with Tiffany Bargeman at my launch party. And you said India is going to go before God for every client. Now, does that mean I'm going to join hands with them and we're going to be, but not unless you want me to, but
Mhm.
it means that when you're not with me, I'm taking the pain points you have, our relationship, whatever it is that I'm getting ready to embark upon with you and
Mhm.
your organization, I'm taking that before God, and He's gonna lead me and guide me in that. And so, again, that means I get to be India, I get to be my authentic self, um, wherever I go, and I'm never gonna compromise on that. So if there's ever a place that's not welcome, that side of me is not welcome, it's not a place for me. Which is the beauty of having your own, is that you get to determine what the culture is. You get to determine that temperature, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm
Yeah. Yeah.
authentically me.
I love that. So, for those who follow Coffee and Collaborations Media, the Collaboration Culture Podcast, or the Praying CEO, I believe that it is hard to separate me from my faith. However, I know that a lot of people don't operate in that same way. So, we want to welcome people to this space who do. And so, one of the ways that we do that daily is we have a community of women called the Praying CEO, and we come together to support one another in that effort. So if that's you and you're interested in being a part of the Praying CEO, I have the information scrolling across the screen at the bottom for just a second, because we want to make sure to highlight India. So her information has been scrolling. I'll put that back up in just a second. But yeah, join us at the Praying CEO on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and we pray every morning at 7:30. It'll be a little later today because I'm doing this at 8 o'clock. So we'll get on a little later. So back to India. Her launch was amazing, you all. And I believe we have some footage somewhere. If it hasn't launched, I know she did a little video, but I think you're going to put something together to share the culmination of the event, sort of like in a nice edited video. So, how can we get in touch with you to get that video and to see that and to follow you and all of that, to make sure that anybody that's listening that also is looking for consulting has that information? Can you share that? And I also want to share it again later.
Sure. So, if you've heard something that interests you, or maybe you know someone that it would interest, certainly the first step would be to book a free call, a free 30-minute discovery call with me. You can do that by going to iWill Consulting at iWill Consulting LLC on Facebook, and you'll see all the different ways to connect. There'll be a booking link on that Facebook page, which it will shoot you out to a Calendly, where you can book a 30-minute call, or you can send that link to the person you're thinking about, or the organization leader that you're thinking about that could possibly benefit from what you heard. Um, I do have a website. It's currently under construction, but it is live, and that's iwillconsultingllc.com. If you go there, you'll see a landing page that tells you that's under construction, but I want you to bookmark it, because when you bookmark it, you'll be able to come back and see um, all of the progress that's being made on the website. Um, you can also, when you go to the Facebook page, you can see our phone number. So you can give a call if you like,
Mm-hmm.
to ask some questions. But I always tell people just start with the booking the free call.
Yeah.
You can also inbox me on Facebook Messenger from the I Will Consulting LLC. Facebook page as well. So yeah, that's step one. Let's just go ahead and get on a call. It's free,
Mm-hmm.
and we can just discover if you're a good fit, or like I said, um, if not, I can connect you with another organization in my ecosystem. But if we are a good fit, we'll build a plan together and go from there.
Yeah. And collaboration is so key. I believe that together we can make a powerful impact, and then we don't have to do things alone. And so, with you being an entrepreneur, new entrepreneur, I definitely commission those who are watching who have never heard of India for us to come together to share what she has. She is definitely a person that you want to know, and a person that, if you're looking for strategy and you're looking for how to navigate change, process management, but then also how to overcome conflict and other things, she'd be an awesome person to come in to your business, into your personal life, to make a change, to help impact your business. With that being said, you've mentioned that your faith is crucial and that you really align yourself with your values, and that's something that is a pillar or marker, something that people can see when they work with you in your business. And I know you're a new business owner, but I'm sure there's a moment. You had the launch, you had other things to happen. Is there a moment that you can share that you were so proud of since starting the firm, since starting the business?
Well, yeah. So I actually started. I had my first client before I launched, which I'm really proud of, and I am more grateful that the client had enough faith and trust in me to be the first, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
shout out to the Holloway Group for being
Mm-hmm.
my first client, and trusting me with with the plan. So
Right.
our plan is has executed. We're in full speed ahead, and hopefully he'll give me a good review after all of this is said and done.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was proud that I did not wait to be ready to take on that first client and kind of go through those things before the actual launch party. So
Yeah.
proud of that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And when it comes to how you stay motivated and inspired and encouraged, you mentioned that you pray and you read the Bible. Are there any books or podcasts or other resources that have been particularly influential to you in your journey?
Absolutely. Gosh, if you could see my Audible right now, because honestly, that's really in this day and age where we're moving so much. I'm actually grateful for Audible, that Audible can move with me.
Hmm.
I do like a good page turner every now and then, but just being realistic with the way my life is set up, to be able to press play and listen in the car. But I'm gonna. There's a book that I didn't read it just. I read it a couple of years ago, but I go back to it a lot, and it's
Hmm.
called Atomic Habits.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, many of you have heard of it, and it's one worth going back to. Between that one and the Four Agreements,
Hmm.
those two again are references for me. It's not a read once and you're done. It's a read and reread and sometimes reread again, because really it just, with Atomic Habits, it's just understanding that something that you've been doing for so long, whether it's good or bad, if you
Hmm.
want to replace it, you got to if you want to stop doing that thing that's not good, you have to replace it with something. Okay. um,
Yeah.
the idea is to replace it with something that's good, but there's a process by which you do that, and a lot of it again is about psychology and human behavior. And then the Four Agreements, just do yourself a favor, read it. So yeah, those are two of the strong ones for me.
Awesome. Yeah, Atomic Habits is so good. And I do hear that book come up quite a bit. Um, Latifa, Nicole, good morning. And to anyone else who has joined us, good morning. As we wrap up, we cannot forget India, that, and I didn't mention it in the bio because I wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about it. You are a mother of three amazing children. And so being a part of Seasons Village on our board, us working with single mothers, and the impact that you have made there, I get to watch as your friend as well the impact that you have made on your family with your children. So as a mother, even single mother, through many of the years in your motherhood, how do you balance that? How do you balance fun? How do you balance teaching them skills? And these children, we would take the whole show to talk about these children. Like, they are doing amazing things, and they are leaders. And to me, they're like, your first business, your first examples of who you are as a business owner, because of the amazing way that they're entering space and taking up space and walking into rooms as leaders. So if you would like, can you talk about your children for a moment and how they influence your life and your journey?
Yes. Oh, my children very much shaped me. I became a mom at the age of 30, which I think there's something to be said about that, because a lot of my friends had already had children by the time I had mine. So I had models, number one. I had, you know, friends' moms who, were very important. Your mama, who's my godmama, who helped shape who I would become as a mother, and then my own mother. And so I take all of that and I say, even with all of that, you still put your own stamp on it, and your own, and God gifts you in ways that He didn't gift the next one, or just because that one did it that way doesn't mean you have to do it that way. And so I, if people tell you, when I start talking about motherhood, and I'm getting a little choked up, so I'm trying to slow down, and because people know when you talk to me about motherhood, that I tell people all the time that my family is my first ministry. And there's a lot of no's that I gave out when it came to me being present for my children. There were a lot of sacrifices that I made so that I could be present and uh, instrumental in their foundation. And so God has allowed me to see the fruit of that. And I'm so grateful. My children are doing some amazing things, and I do not take full credit for any of that. But I, I do know that God gifted me in the season that I'm in to be their mother, and so I'm not going to back away from what I've poured into them, and shy away from that, because it was the strength of it was it was through the might and power of God that I was able to do it. But He gifted me. Like, I was the one who was meant to be their mama. And so they're rocking and rolling. My twin daughters just finished sophomore year of college. One is pre-med at North Carolina A&T, and one, I'm about to spill her beans, so I won't spill it all, but she is entering into a nursing program this fall, and she'll make that announcement as to where she chose. But
awesome. Okay, we'll wait.
we'll wait. And then my son, he's rocking and rolling as well. Just finished junior years at in high school, and so he will be um, embarking upon senior year.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
very proud of them, and just taking the mantle, because we come from a family that believes that education is important. They did not meet my father because he died before they were born, but I see him in them. And they did get to meet my mother, and so they got to experience the Willie Mae Jordan. And so I'm happy that they are carrying on the legacy of their
Yeah.
grandparents and making our family proud.
And what a legacy that is. So, as we wrap up, you have, as I mentioned, the light through your children that we see, that I see, I get to see personally. That is you, that is your stamp. Those who will be working with you will get that light that will be their stamp that they can take forward. And so I'm so excited to see your business evolve and grow. And I would love to have you back maybe a year from now so we can say, oh, where are you now? And how are you doing? And how are things going? Just as an interview, but I also love to share space with you and see how we can continue to work together to impact the lives of so many business owners. As I just said, women are starting businesses, entrepreneurs are prevalent, and one of the things that I want to say as a single mother, India can be an inspiration to many of you who are thinking of entrepreneurship but feel like you can't do it because you're a single mother. And I'm so glad that you have that as well to be able to inspire other people who are in situations where they feel like they can't do something, but you have overcome challenges and now done this along with your career. And so lastly, as we've already kind of shared your information, but I want to give you an opportunity to share any closing thoughts or anything else that our listeners can do to connect with you, to learn more about you, your services, or what's the next. You already mentioned step one. So just if you want to repeat that, whatever closing thoughts you have, I'll give you the floor.
Thank you so much, Kimberly. And I'm glad that you mentioned, the plight of the single parent, single mother, single father, because there is an element of give back that I've built into my business. And I created what's called the iWill Forward Fund. So, I talked about the fact that iWill Consulting was built to serve people who get overlooked. But also, I know that even at the price point that I'm offering, there'll still be someone who needs it and can't afford it. And I'm just not going to let that be the end of their story. So I created the iWill Forward Fund. And what that means is for every paid engagement that I complete, a portion goes directly into this fund. And the purpose is just to provide a fully or partially subsidized consulting service to an individual, an entrepreneur that's afraid to just launch because of finances or something that's keeping them in the way. And I want to do that once per quarter. So someone who has vision but not yet the means to make that happen, that's what this fund is for. So they're going to apply. It's not just a handout, so to speak. They will apply because it is an investment and something that they would need to take very seriously. So after completing that service with me, they would be named an iWill Forward Fellow. So if you would like
Oh,
to
I
sew,
love that.
yes, I just wanted to throw it out there. If you want to sew into the iWill Forward Fund, I'm going to drop the um, if it's okay in this chat to
Mm-hmm.
if I can, I figure out how to do that. Drop the payment. Let's see if I can.
Yeah, we could share it later as
Yeah.
well.
So it's basically two ways to do it, through Cash App and through oh goodness, I can't remember the second one that I did. However, I will put it in the chat. So it is PayPal. Sorry, PayPal and Cash App. So with Cash App is $ iWill Consulting LLC, and with PayPal, it's iWill Consulting. So I will drop that into the chat.
Awesome. She will. I will. Awesome. And so Latifa says, this is awesome, India. All right. So, for those of you who are going to catch the replay, welcome to the Collaboration Culture Podcast. We have just heard from India Williams, new business owner with iWill Consulting LLC. So, go back and watch the replay. For those of you who are here live, thank you for joining us. We will be sharing the links to iWill Forward Fund, and scrolling right across the screen, you will see information on how to get in touch with India through Facebook, through her website, which will be live, ready to go very soon, and all the other ways that she plugged us into that we've learned about today. So thank you again, India, for joining us. You all don't go anywhere. We're going to close out. Make sure that if you would like to join us on the podcast, that you reach out to me at one of these, at Coffee and Collaborations Media, one of these sites, or the Praying CEO. Just reach out to me, Kimberly Winborn. You can find me at Kimberly Winborn LLC. You can find me at I Am Kimberly Winborn. You can find me everywhere. But go to Coffee and Collaborations, which is scrolling across the screen, and let us know, yeah, I would love to be on your podcast. I have a business. I have a mission. I'm a part of a great organization, and you want to be highlighted. Let us know, and we'll see where we can fit you in. We are airing every other week and trying to shout out all of these wonderful business owners, community leaders, and others who are doing amazing work. And so if that's you or you know someone, make sure to reach out to us. info@coffeeandcollaborations.com or inbox Coffee and Collaborations Media, and we'll get back to you. Okay. So thank you for joining today. Again, we had India Williams of iWill Consulting. If you missed it, go back and catch the replay, and make sure you put in the comments #replay so that we can recognize you and know that you are here. We'll see you another time, and make sure that you go out with a heart of working together, not focusing on competition, but focusing on collaboration, how one or more coming together can ignite a fire and make a stronger impact than doing it alone. Okay? See you next time. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.